There is a bug in the animal brain. Not a malfunction. Not a weakness. The oldest, most battle-tested survival feature that evolution ever produced. And it looks, from the outside, exactly like fear turning itself off. You have seen it. Everyone has seen it. A wild animal. Caught. Surrounded. Completely at the mercy of whatever has it. And it just lies there. Soft. Still. Like it has accepted everything. That image has launched 1,000 wildlife rescue videos. And almost every caption under every one of them says the same wrong thing. It trusts me. It knows I'm helping. It feels safe now. Here is what is actually happening, and why understanding it will permanently change how you see every animal you encounter. To understand the glitch, you first need to understand the system it lives inside. Every vertebrate animal on Earth, every fish, every bird, every mammal, every reptile, carries the same ancient threat response architecture in its nervous system. It was built over 500 million years of predator-prey evolution. And it is so deeply embedded that no amount of domestication, breeding, or training fully removes it. The system has 3 primary modes. Fight. Engage the threat directly. Flight. Escape the threat as fast as possible. Freeze. Become invisible through absolute stillness. Most people know the first 2. The third one is where the glitch lives. Freeze is not just standing still and hoping for the best. It is a complete neurological takeover of the body. The scientific name is tonic immobility, and it is triggered by one very specific set of conditions. When an animal calculates that fighting will lose and running will trigger a chase, the brain selects the third option automatically. Without asking, the animal does not decide to freeze. The freeze decides for the animal. Heart rate plummets. Breathing slows to almost nothing. Muscles either go completely limp or lock into rigid stillness depending on the species. Eyes stay open. The animal remains completely conscious and aware. It sees everything. It hears everything. It feels everything. It is simply unable to move. And that inability is the point. Because the number 1 trigger for a predator's chase instinct is movement. Remove the movement. Remove the trigger. Survive. This is 500 million years of survival logic running in real time. Now here is where the glitch appears. The system was built for a world of natural predators. Wolves, hawks, crocodiles, bears. Predators that hunt by detecting motion. Predators that lose interest in still prey. Predators that follow ancient rules. Humans do not follow those rules. A human does not lose interest in still prey. A human with a net does not need the prey to move. A human with a trap does not require motion to catch what it is hunting. The freeze response, which worked perfectly against every other predator for 500 million years, simply does not work against us. That is the glitch. The system cannot update fast enough. Evolution works over thousands of generations. Humans change the rules in dozens. The animal is running software that is 500 million years old against a threat that is 300 years old. And the old software does not have a patch for this. Now, let us look at exactly what happens inside the body during tonic immobility. Because what you see on the outside and what is happening on the inside are almost complete opposites. Cortisol, the stress hormone, floods the body at levels higher than almost any other biological event. Higher than a chase. Higher than a fight. Higher than injury. The animal that looks the most peaceful is experiencing the most extreme stress response in its biology. Adrenaline is simultaneously suppressed and stored. The body is saving its explosive energy for one purpose, the escape that may still come. The animal is not relaxed. It is a compressed spring pretending to be a stone. Pain perception drops dramatically during tonic immobility. This is the body numbing itself for what it expects to come next. Because in the wild, the next thing that usually comes is being eaten. Pain suppression during predation increases the chance that the animal can still escape even after initial injury. The system is optimized for the worst possible outcome. Not for rescue. Not for kindness. For surviving being eaten. Now, let us talk about the most famous example of tonic immobility in the world. The deer in the headlights. For decades, people assumed deer froze in headlights because they were confused by the light, or blinded, or simply not intelligent enough to move. None of that is what is happening. The deer is not confused. The deer is running its most advanced survival protocol. Two bright points of light in the darkness, moving toward it, low to the ground. To the deer's nervous system, this matches one signature perfectly. Large predator, approaching fast, close enough that running will trigger the chase. Freeze. This response has worked against every predator that has approached it in the dark for millions of years. The car is the first predator in the history of the deer's lineage that does not respond to stillness. The strategy that saved its ancestors 1,000 times is killing it now. That is not stupidity. That is the glitch. Now, let us go to the ocean. Because sharks have a version of tonic immobility that is almost supernatural. A shark flipped onto its back will enter a state of complete motionless suspension. Eyes open, body still, completely unresponsive for up to 15 minutes. Marine biologists discovered this could be induced reliably and began using it for research. They could take measurements, remove hooks, perform health checks, all while the shark remained completely still. But something else had already discovered this trick long before marine biologists did. Orcas. Orcas have been observed flipping great white sharks upside down, holding them in that position until tonic immobility activates, and then killing them while they are completely defenseless. The orca learned to use the shark's own survival system as a weapon against it. This is not instinct. This is learned behavior passed between orca generations. Somewhere, at some point, an orca discovered that flipping a shark changed everything, and taught it to its family. Evolution versus culture. The shark never had a chance to adapt. Now, let us talk about birds. Because birds show tonic immobility in a way that confused humans for centuries. A bird held on its back with gentle pressure on its chest will often remain completely motionless. People assumed this was some form of hypnosis or deep relaxation. Magicians used it for centuries as a stage trick. Watch me put this chicken to sleep. The chicken was not asleep. It was in maximum survival crisis. And every audience that laughed at the trick was watching an animal in its worst moment. But birds have evolved something remarkable on top of the basic freeze response. They use tonic immobility as a launch platform. While the bird appears dead, it is doing something precise and calculated. It is monitoring the predator's exact position and attention. It is waiting for the optimal gap, the exact moment the predator looks away. And then it explodes. Not gradually. Not uncertainly. With every stored unit of adrenaline released in one instant. The predator is left with empty air where there was a meal a millisecond ago. The freeze was not surrender. It was a setup. Now, let us come back to the rescue videos. Because now you can see them differently. When the rescuer picks up the wild animal, and it goes completely still, the animal's nervous system has just run through its entire threat response checklist. Can I fight this?
No.
Can I flee?
No.
Then freeze. The animal is not calm. Its cortisol is at its lifetime maximum. Its heart, despite appearing slow from outside, is beating in a pattern associated with extreme distress. Its muscles are loaded with stored adrenaline, ready to fire the moment the calculation changes. And it is watching you, constantly, with everything it has. Every movement you make is being analyzed and recalculated. Every sound is being assessed for predator signature. You are not a friend. You are an unknown variable in a survival equation. And the equation is running every millisecond you hold that animal.
Now.
Here is the part that changes everything. Sometimes, not always, not even often, but sometimes, the calculation produces an unexpected result. The animal assesses the human as something it has never had a category for. Not predator, not prey, not rival. Something else entirely. And in that gap, that uncategorized space in the threat system, something that looks remarkably like trust can emerge. Not trust in the human sense. Not a decision. Not a feeling. A temporary suspension of the threat response in the absence of a confirmed threat category. The glitch, running in reverse. This is what scientists believe is happening when a wild animal cooperates with a rescuer. Not tonic immobility. Something different. Something rarer. A humpback whale off the coast of California, tangled in hundreds of meters of crab trap lines. It was spotted by a diver who called a rescue team. 4 divers entered the water with cutting tools. The whale was enormous. One movement of its tail could have killed any one of them. It did not move its tail. For over an hour, it remained almost completely still while the team worked. More than that, it moved its body to help them reach the most tangled sections. When a line was near its eye, it gently turned its head to give the diver better access. The divers reported later that they felt the whale was aware of what they were doing, that it was participating, that it understood the purpose of each cut. Science cannot confirm what the whale was experiencing internally, but the behavior was inconsistent with tonic immobility and inconsistent with random passivity. The whale was doing something that does not have a clean name in behavioral science yet. When the last line was cut, it swam free. Then it turned back. It circled each diver one by one, touched each one gently with its nose, and then it was gone. James Mosquito, one of the divers, said later, "I think it was thanking us." Science says, we do not know. But here is what we do know. The whale suspended its threat response for over an hour in the presence of 4 creatures it had no evolutionary context for. It made choices, or something functionally indistinguishable from choices, that protected those 4 small animals from harm. And then it did something that has no survival function whatsoever. It came back. Whatever the glitch is, this ancient emergency shutdown built into every vertebrate nervous system, it is not the whole story. Because somewhere beyond the shutdown, beyond the freeze, beyond the survival calculation, there is something else. Something that a whale can do at the surface of the Pacific Ocean, with 4 divers it has never met. Something that a crow can do by leaving a bottle cap for a child who feeds it every morning. Something that a dog can do just by sitting next to you when you are crying. The glitch in the animal brain is real, and it is ancient, and it was built for survival. But animals are doing something with it that it was never designed for. And we are only just beginning to understand what that something is. The freeze was built to survive predators. But somewhere along the way, it became the space where something else could happen. Between the threat and the response. Between the predator and the prey. In the space where the ancient calculation pauses, just for a moment, something looked up and decided the calculation could wait.